The beanie doesn't really work with the whole pirate thing. I don't have bandanas, so yep. Let's just do it a greasy hairstyle today. I know a lot of us are having trouble pulling all of the triple rares that we need for the Granblue event. I am personally missing a lot of Night Mist. I haven't pulled a single one. I have pulled basically all of the double rares. I'm assuming that a lot of people are in the same boat as me. So I'm going to show you 2 different deck builds you can go for, because technically the deck cannot be made if you do not have any of the triple rares. It just doesn't really work. So we're going to try to keep the same goal in mind of getting units to the drop and recurring these units to get bonuses such as Ghost Ship. And both decks I'm going to be showing you are going to be able to execute the Spirit Exceed Ride Chain. We really want to try to enable Ghost Ship because he is an 11k butt and he becomes a 16k attacker if he is boosted. The downside of him is that you need to call a unit from your drop zone for him to lose his restraint, so he relies on other units in the deck to keep him moving. Runeshade's ability is that when she attacks, you can mill the top 2 cards of your deck and then she becomes an 11k attacker. Now, if you are missing Runeshade, the biggest unit that you're going to want to implement into your deck is Evil Shade. He has a similar ability. It's that when he boosts the Vanguard, you can mill the top 2 cards of your deck, and then he becomes a 10k booster. Now, the reason that you don't need to run 4 of him, for example, is that you probably already do have some copies of Chappie. Chappie's going to be able to do the same thing that we want to do of getting cards into the drop. Chappie is a better unit, though, because he allows you to put specific cards in your drop, such as Spirit Exceed, Night Mist, or even the Ghost Ship. Night Mist effect is that if you have another Night Mist in your drop, he becomes an 11k attacker. He also has the drop zone ability of counterblasting 1, and then you can sack a unit and then call him out. So it basically guarantees you a interceptor every turn. He is going to be a little harder to replace because he fills in this missing piece that the deck needs of constant recursion and defensive plays. Now what this deck is trying to do is fill in that need of recursion to activate such cards as Ghost Ship. There are 2 units in the deck that share a same ability as Night Mist. The first is Samurai Spirit. Same effect, drop zone, counterblast 1, sack a unit, call him out. We have to run him to have the Spirit Exceed going, so you already have some form of this in your deck. He's nice because he guarantees you a booster. So if you have a grade 3 in your hand you don't need, you can call it, sack it, and then call out Samurai Spirit. Samurai Spirit also enables Ghost Ship on turn 2. So if you want to have Ghost Ship on your Vanguard circle, Samurai Spirit will help you enable that. There's also Skull Dragon. He has the same ability of counterblast 1, retire unit, and call him out. He is a 13k attacker for no cost. The downside of him is that he blows up at the end of your turn. There are like interesting things about that. Obviously it's a big neg on your board, but it also makes it so Kagero players have one less thing to blow up, I guess. One unit I really like for both builds of the deck is Witch Doctor. He has the ability that when he's placed, you can counterblast 2 and then call any unit from your drop. This will allow us to get back interceptors we need, boosters that we need. You can even call a grade 2 over him in case you already have an interceptor out. If you have a Ghost Ship in your drop, you can use Witch Doctor to call the Ghost Ship out, and because of this, Ghost Ship can turn his own restraint off in this way. There is a Monster Frank build. At first, it seemed like a cute little budget deck, but every time I tried to get it to work, it couldn't seem to get the gears going. To get him to pop off, you need your opponent to rush you in some way because you need to have 3 damage by your second turn. So if you went first, that means your opponent's going to have to deal 3 damage to you on turn 1. And if you go second, it's a little easier because then your opponent can go grade 2 first. But then that means you still are at 3 damage on just your second turn. So he can turn himself on now with this new ability of you can discard him and then go search for a Child Frank, which does give you some filtering in your deck, but it just still doesn't seem worth it to me. So if you want to give it a try, here's a build that I got of it, but it doesn't really seem any way effective. So unless you pulled like no double rares even, I would try to avoid this deck. Now this is what my current deck looks like. Like I said, I didn't pull any Night Mist. I do have 2 Runeshade. So because of this, I'm only playing 3 of the Ghost Ship. I still think the deck can be active because a big part of the deck is the aggro on the Spirit Exceed turn. I will be doing a more in-depth build of the deck once the whole event's over and I know which cards I was able to pull. I just thought I'd put this video out to give you some ideas in case you want to be playing Granblue on the ladder currently without all of your pieces.